Well, they've done it again. The powerhouse directing duo of Moorhead and Benson are 4 for 4.
You know, they say we see everything once in this gig. Pretty sure we've never seen this.
I think they need help.
Synchronic is the newest film from Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson. It stars Anthony Mackie and Jamie Dornan, and it tells the story of two EMTs in New Orleans whose lives end up spiraling out of control when a new designer drug called Synchronic hits the streets, resulting in a string of bizarre, extremely weird, otherworldly overdoses and deaths. This directing team has been on my radar since I attended the world premiere of their last film, The Endless. After that, I went back and watched their two other films, Resolution and Spring, and the conclusion that I came to is that these two are one of the most talented pairs of directors working today in indie cinema. Every single film of theirs works astoundingly well, and they all carry with them a certain sense of honest humanity while still exploring very otherworldly, weird concepts like cosmic horror. And Synchronic is no exception to that. It only further illustrates that Benson and Moorhead are the directors best equipped to tackle cosmic horror in today's day and age. They consistently do it in unique, inventive ways that always manage to be honest and relatable in ways that you don't expect. Synchronic, at its core, is a film about time. It's a film that explores the enormity of time and the concept of using the little time that you have on this earth as a means of finding the things that matter most to you and holding on to them with all that you have. It might not be my favorite film of theirs, but that doesn't mean it's not fantastic. Now, before I dive in, I do want to really specify something. I did see this in a movie theater, as it is playing in theaters right now, and there is a pandemic going on outside, so, don't do what I did unless you can find a situation similar to what I did, where you drive an hour away to find a theater where there's nobody in the theater, so you get basically a private screening all to yourself. Hell, even the directors put out a statement saying, don't go see this in theaters unless you can find it at a drive-in. So, listen to them. Don't go see this in a theater unless you can find a literal private screening like I did. It's not wise. That being said, though, if you can find access to it in a drive-in, go see it. Synchronic finds its strength in a few things. First and foremost is the performances. Anthony Mackie is somebody I've known as a capable actor from, the Marvel films. I admittedly have not seen him in much else. And Jamie Dornan is somebody who I've literally only seen in 50 Shades of Grey. And I stopped judging people who perform in young adult novel movies because, Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart, Dakota Johnson, they all proved themselves as extremely capable, talented actors when not given a script that's written like shit. So, in no real surprise to me, Jamie Dornan's character in this movie is great. Dennis is a character who's pretty miserable and is constantly racked with guilt over the fact that he's not as happy as he feels he should be with his life. And his relationship with his daughter, Brianna, is incredibly genuine and real, and you can tell that she's the only thing in his life that really matters to him. And as things get progressively worse throughout the film and Dennis is pushed to the edge and his life starts falling apart, Dornan portrays that grief in a way that's honestly heartbreaking and incredibly realistic. But the real standout here is Anthony Mackie, who is an absolute powerhouse in this movie. Steve is a guy who's really just not doing too great. He's basically been living his life as a playboy with zero attachments going on 40 years. So when he's faced with the reality of having an inoperable brain tumor, he's forced to kind of reevaluate things and take another look at his life from a different perspective, with all the time that he wasted and all the things he wanted to do with his life. And the drug Synchronic offers him an opportunity to do something with the time that he has left. And goddamn, when Mackie has to sucker punch you in the feels in this movie, he does it. He really goes for it. He has to say so much without saying much at all because Steve is keeping a lot of his pain internalized. But there are several monologues he has to deliver throughout the film's tight 105-minute runtime, and most of them had me genuinely welling up or just full-on weeping in the theater. I cried a lot at this movie, honestly, and that's thanks to its stunning visuals and its incredibly tight human script by Justin Benson. Dennis and Steve's relationship is so genuine, and that's partially due to the chemistry between Mackie and Dornan because these two feel like they've been friends for decades, but it's also because of Benson's wonderfully written script. It's emotional and relatable as hell, tackling very raw, real, human issues in a way that manages to be wholly different than anything we've ever seen before while still being relatable. The idea of using concepts in horror that are beyond human understanding and using them as a means of ironically understanding the human condition a little more, I think is something that is truly beautiful. And that beauty is only emphasized when you combine it with an amazing score from Jimmy LaValle, who also did the score for Spring and The Endless, as well as Aaron Moorhead's beautiful cinematography in this film, and visually speaking, I would actually say that Synchronic is his best work yet. The drug trip sequences are weird and vibrant, and when you combine them with some stunning digital effects work, it creates these beautiful, awe-inspiring moments that leave you both marveling and shuddering at the idea of how small we are in the universe. It's hammered home constantly throughout the film with the utilization of dreamy, wide shots of the vast, starry night sky. And the utilization of these shots is beautiful, but it also creates a very distinct sense of existential dread that makes you feel as though there's something grander at play here and makes you realize just how small and insignificant we are. Like their other films, this movie does tie into the greater Benson-Moorhead cinematic universe that we've become accustomed to. It's a tie-in that makes total sense given everything that we know about this universe, and the way that it does tie in is something that made me actually say "oh shit" out loud in the theater. Unfortunately, this is the first film in their cinematic universe that does not include any name-drop reference to Shitty Carl. Fortunately, we get a nice replacement for him in Tom, the shitty ambulance driver who Dennis hates because he sucks at his job. Tom's presence in the film alone, along with some genuinely funny writing from Benson, helped to add a lot of levity to such a bleak, punishing film, and I really did appreciate that. When I say that I didn't enjoy Synchronic as much as The Endless or Spring, I don't mean in any way that it's worse than those films. It's not a knock on Synchronic, it's just that Spring and The Endless are films that ultimately I would describe as feel-good, and Synchronic is not that. In addition to definitely not being feel-good, it's also a lot grander in scale than the films that came before it. It has a lot more to juggle, and as a result it does suffer from some minor pacing issues here and there, and a couple little moments of plot convenience, but by the time that you get to the end of the movie, and the journey has reached its conclusion, what you've witnessed is so damn awe-inspiring that all of your gripes just kind of turn to dust and blow away. Benson and Moorhead are on fire with no signs of stopping at this point. Synchronic is by far their saddest film, and while it's not my favorite in their lineup, it's certainly their best work in some regards, especially when it comes down to performances and visuals. I'm gonna say that Synchronic, like all their other films, is a must-see. It's a nightmare of cosmic horror, but it utilizes that cosmic horror to unearth deep, meaningful truths about the human condition, and it twists it into a beautiful emotional story about family, friendship, and the enormity of time. It moved me to tears several times, and if you can find a place to see it safely, I cannot recommend enough that you do so. These guys are going places, I can't wait to see what they do next, and yeah, as always guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, click down there, like, comment, subscribe. So Patreon link down in the description if you want to donate to this channel, help us grow, make new, better quality content for you all to enjoy. I would really appreciate it. For the record, 31 Nights of Halloween is not over. It's just been a very rough week. That being said, if you want to be like any of these cool people right here, starting tomorrow, we're back. Movies every night, leading up to Halloween. We all watch them together. I'm not sure what the next movie is because this week has been just a week from hell, so stay up to date on my Patreon, check it out, you can see what we're watching every night, and if you want to join us, you're welcome to do so. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it, and I will see you all very soon.